So it was early 80s. I was growing up in another corner of the world, a third world country. I was in sixth grade, and I found a book in my mom's library. My mom was a literature professor, first in her university to graduate with a graduate degree. The book is about Bell X-1. If you don't know what Bell X-1, Bell X-1 is an experimental aircraft the United States built right after the World War to really defeat the sound barrier. So the story about Chuck Yeager, the fighter pilot who was operating that aircraft, but it was not Chuck Yeager that caught my attention. It was the test engineer, Jack Ridley, and I was amazed by his ability to solve problems to beat the sound barrier. Growing up in a country where you don't have a whole lot of opportunity, but I decided that I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. I didn't know about aerospace then. It was aeronautical engineer. It's not a simple journey for a kid growing up in the other side of the corner. And 14 years later, I came to University of Oklahoma, the same university Jack Ridley graduated with a mechanical engineering degree. So to me, from that journey required connecting a lot of different opportunities, and opportunities that really made me to travel that long road. And I started to realize that it's not the talent, it's not anything else, it's the connecting the opportunity dot that actually really creates success. Success entirely depends on your ability to create opportunity. As an international student, pursuing an aerospace degree is often very challenging. Rightfully so. I was a foreign national. It was not possible for me to participate in every aspect of aerospace research. Wanted to work on X-planes. That was my dream, but ended up working in propulsion. Well, I am a rocket engineer. I don't call rocket scientist, I'm a rocket engineer, but towards the end of my doctoral work, I had an opportunity to write a NASA proposal. Again, those opportunities are not given to graduate students. But I had this amazing opportunity to NASA invited graduate students to write a proposal. There was a two phases of the proposal. First, you write a small proposal, and they'll give you $2,000 to visit a NASA center to connect. Well, I own that $2,000. And the problem is, I was an international student. I'm not allowed to go inside NASA. So I brought a ticket and went to NASA Glenn Research Center. The division chief, big mentor for me rest of my career, she knew that I could not get into NASA, so she came to the visitor center and just to speak with me. Another opportunity. That opportunity set the course of my life. What that person did to me, it forever changed how I perceive. 6 months later, they wanted me to go and work in NASA Glenn Research Center in Cleveland. Again, it was not an easy journey. I really cannot do, but my mentor's there, another mentor who's an aerospace engineer, he filled a 400-page form to let me go inside NASA Glenn. It's a lot of security process. And throughout my whole summer experience there, he had to escort me. He has to take me everywhere. A lot of inconvenience for him. But then one day, I was sitting in this small rocket test cell where I am allowed to go, and it just hit me. It just hit me that I am the face of American dream. This is how no other country in the world will allow an immigrant with an accent and access to a NASA facility so that he or she can really achieve her dream. Forever, it changed how I believe and how I foresee this country. The people took pain to create opportunity for me. The immense amounts of inconvenience for all those people in NASA to create this opportunity for me, that's made me who I am. And there are hundreds of people in this country don't have that opportunity. So me and my wife, who took a rash decision to move to El Paso, it was not a thoughtful decision. UTEP offered me a position and I took it. And my mentors are upset. They told me, that was not the right school to go. The things you are trained, UTEP don't have the capability. Nothing wrong about this university. This is not the university you should be, okay? And he asked me that, what made you to make this sudden decision? I told him it felt like home. That's the only thing I talked about. It felt like home. When I came for an interview, I did not look at all the labs and everything. When I was sitting in the breakfast in a hotel lobby, the server asked me that whether I'm missing my family. No part of this country will show that kindness. No part of this country will show you that kind of compassion to people who just met. It may feel intrusive, but forever it changed my perception about El Paso, and I knew that I want to be part of that. When I came to UTEP, I wanted to build and share the same opportunity for everyone else in my community. Well, it was not an easy journey. Again, the huge tragedy happened. 9/11 happened 6 months after I joined El Paso. My whole immigration process got really complicated, which should have been done in 6 months, 7 months. It took me longer because all the new things came in. But still, I never lose faith on this country, because no other country in the world will treat an immigrant the way they treated me, the amount of opportunity I ever get. No other region in this country or world will treat an immigrant with the kindness the way I was treated. So I hang on to that with a singular mindset that I would like to spread opportunity to everyone. It was a difficult journey. University was not ready for what I wanted to do. But few of us took a different path. We figured out the only way we can excel is creating opportunity for them. Along the way came 3 students, all El Paso born kids, okay? And we worked together, start building a program. And it was hard because UTEP is not known for aerospace. There was a humongous perception biased against us, but we did not take a route for most faculty took. We were not happy with 1 grant. We were not happy with 3 graduate students working in my lab. We wanted to scale. We wanted to give every kid growing up in El Paso's zip code and access to the opportunity, the same opportunity I got. I wanted to build a NASA program at UTEP. All 3 of my early students ended up in NASA. In 2 years, they all ended up in NASA. Many of them are big shot there. The same X1 program is called Explain program in NASA that I always dreamed of working. I did not work on it, but a later X programs right now ongoing is managed by one of my former graduate students. I did not touch the X program, but I did touch the X program through the aspiration and dream of my own students. So that's what the whole thing about creating opportunity for everybody. 2 decades. We worked so hard to create this opportunity pipeline. It was never an easy thing to do, but we knew why we were here. We knew that we exist for our students. We knew that our singular purpose is to make sure that every student we touch, every person we touch has an opportunity to achieve his or her aspiration. So life made very, very simple. Because we know the purpose. So many of us are very unorthodox academics. Things we do, most academics will not do. But when I go back and have a very bad day, I open a book. That book has the 400 students' name and picture that I touched, and now in aerospace and defense industry as well as NASA. So all my pain, all my frustration, all the bad day go away, right away. Because I can see that the opportunity I get, the opportunity I received, I did able to spread that to 400 students. And my work has not been done. I want to put another 4,000 students in the pipeline, and I'm sure we'll be able to do that. Over this whole process of journey, many different things happen. We build splendid capacity. We build world-class research infrastructure. We are part of the biggest NASA program. Many of my students are building next generation of spacecraft that take humanity to the moon. What we also realized, our whole focus was that the world is changing around us. Things we do will not be doing next year. We will have a huge presence in space. 100 years from now, hundreds of thousands people will be in other planets or in the orbit working. We want to make sure that many of them have a root in El Paso. So all our endeavor were focusing on that, really the huge aspect of those things. Early 2016, when I started to feel good about the trajectory we took and why we took all the students, we started to realize that there's a big missing piece. Every student we graduated, they are not here. They are a shining example of our program, but they are shining in another community. So all of them have to leave El Paso because we did not have an opportunity for them. It's a different feeling for me. I'm still very proud where they go, but still this hollowness that I wish they're here. I wish we can go and have coffee with them. I wish their talents, their economic prosperity touch my community as well. And how to do that? how we can achieve that perspective. So again, I say we're unorthodox academics. We say, you know what, we have to create jobs in El Paso. Again, it's the same thing. In early 2000, we wanted to build an aerospace program in UTEP. It's the same deal. We want to create an aerospace industry in El Paso. Well, it's simple to say, but very difficult things to do, right? Because we are not known for that kind of thing. But if you look at very carefully, that El Paso has been growing last 2 decades. We made a tremendous improvement in our infrastructure, quality of life, beautiful, beautiful community. But if you look at very carefully what's happening underneath, we're losing our young people. Most young people from our community, especially the students with the STEM discipline, with the higher economic status, are actually not staying in El Paso because they don't have jobs here. We are losing many of the young talents from El Paso. How to really recapitalize that? How to make sure we can create those talents here? Obviously, the things we created 15 years, this tremendous research preeminence, a deep connection with industry, a deep connection with federal agency, can we capitalize that? Can we make sure that aspects of things we can bring in to create the local job? Well, it is possible because company moves the place where the talents are. Industry moves to the place where capacity exists. It's just we have to be able to connect the dots. If you've been following news, you will see that we have early success. We are bringing industry back to El Paso. But more importantly, what we are doing, create an ecosystem that allow our kids, our students to stay here. Throughout the process, we also start to figure this out, that even if we produce a lot of students, still we are really keeping a lot of people behind. Not everybody is coming to the pipeline. This one end, they're leaving. Another end, they're not coming to the system. As US is changing to a very knowledge-based economy, we need people that can create knowledge. We need people that the knowledge is their main commodity. And to really transform those agenda, we need to create not only higher ed, we need to connect back to K-12. We need to really start from K-12 all the way to the employment. We need to start looking into what is happening, what kind of job we have. Many jobs in our community, including call center and other jobs, will go away very soon. Artificial intelligence and robotics will take over. But if you lose 4 jobs in call center, you may get 6 jobs who are actually programming those artificial intelligence. A transformation needs to happen. A transformation needs to happen well within where we are. Okay, so that's what the new process and what we call it, this is the new now. Our new now is very different. Our new now is to transform El Paso and its economy and how we do things in a very intricate knowledge-based society. We want institution higher ed to work very closely with all economic development partners. We are one team. We are one thing we wanted to focus on is that we want to make a very prosperous El Paso. So when I was doing this whole development and connecting UTEP research preeminence with industry, with job, and with backfilling the K-12, one of the things I start to realize that one of the things really affecting our community is how people perceived outside El Paso. There's 2 different perceptions. One perception, how they perceived our research program, and how they perceive El Paso. Well, people perceive UTEP's research capability very high-end. That's why they hire our students. That's why they give us money to do research. But the same perception doesn't really exist for El Paso. So one of our biggest things, one of the biggest journey we have now to change how outside world really feel about us. When my daughter found out that I am doing this TED Talk, because she didn't find out until yesterday. So she told me, Daddy, don't mess it up. And I deeply realized, what does that mean? I deeply realized what she just meant to me. She's 16 years old, wanted to be an aerospace engineer. She just told me that the underlying theme of that you guys cannot mess it up. You guys have to make sure that every kid growing up in El Paso zip code have an access to a career and have an access that they can work here and raise their family here. Please do not mess it up. So there will be many times when hate and bigotry will slow us down. They will attack us, and there will be time they will bleed us. But we can never lose faith on this country. We can never lose faith on the greatness of America. We can't. There will be time when the bias and discrimination will make us sad, will make us very, very angry. But still, you cannot lose faith on the American dream. You can't, because we are the American dreams. We are El Paso strong. Thank you so much.